Somebody lift those hands.
It's a new rise.
I need you to speak it over your own life tonight.
It's a new rise.
It's a new rise.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Propel Deep Dive. I'm Megan DiMartino, and I am thrilled to have you here with me today. This is going to be a very special Propel Deep Dive. I am with my dear friend Camille Walker, and we are going to share with you some new beginnings, some things that will help you propel your business and life. But before I introduce Camille to you, I'd like to share a little bit about what the Propel Deep Dive is, what the Propel program is, and what the Propel community entails and is. I started three seven-figure businesses, or built three seven-figure businesses over the last 35 years, two skincare brands and one luxury day and medical spa. And during that season, encountered so many different obstacles that helped me understand more how I can help you to propel your business and life. I've put together my 5 C's, which are clarity, courage, confidence, compassion. And with that, with these 5 C's, they will help you overcome obstacles and give you unshakable confidence, courage, and commitment, and most importantly, compassion for yourself to continue on with that clarity that will help you start, scale, and sustain the business and life of your dreams. So there is a Propel program. It is a business program that I have put together for you, but also I encourage you to join the Propel community. The trailer for that to join and get involved with all of the Propel programs will be streamed throughout this program. And so I just encourage you to not only listen to Camille and I today, but to get involved, because it is imperative. You can have an idea, but with action, it's just a dream. It's just a wish. It's not going to come together in reality. So take that first step and join the Propel community. And then go to my YouTube page, Megan DiMartino, and the Propel programs, and subscribe to the Propel community, because the Propel YouTube, because it will help others find us. This will be a podcast. It's on all of these podcast platforms, such as Spotify and all of the others. So that is really the background to this, because again, I've been in the trenches, I've been where you are, and I want to help you get out of that trench and start, scale, and sustain, no matter where you are, no matter. But today we're going to be talking about something that has come into Camille and my life. And the dynamic is very important to us, because it is as I don't want to say coach, but as a person to help you start, scale, and sustain your business. Your health is your greatest wealth. I heard a quote recently that healthy people have 1,000 dreams, but a sick person has but one: to become healthy. So Camille has been on my original live and podcast called Unique Leaders, and she's been with me over these last 3 years in the Propel community, in different summits that we've had, and different live virtuals that we've done. But today we're going to revisit a bit about Camille, what brought her to where she is today, and then where we are and where we're helping you take your business and life. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you my dear friend, Camille Walker.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hello,
Exactly.
Megan.
This is live where all over the world, Camille. So
Wherever you
that's
are.
what's yes, exactly. That's what's exciting. So as I shared in the intro, Camille, you've been with me over these 5 years since I started Unique Leaders, and then shifted or pivoted into the Propel program. But essentially the same thread of heart is with it, which is to help others
Mm-hmm.
identify their dreams, goals, desires, passion, purpose, and take that first step.
Yes.
And take that first step. And so, before we go into where we're going to speak today about, I'd just like you to give a little overview of who you are, what you've done, and what brings you to today.
Well, and thank you for having me back. I mean, it's absolutely a privilege. And where I've been, and I'm going to give you the short version, is just really a practicing attorney for over 20 years, just really advocating for people who had chronic challenges with their health. And these were business owners, corporate America, you name it, right? Just individuals and really fighting the system for them. Most of them lost their job as a result of chronic conditions where they could no longer work, which affected their finances. And ultimately, some of them lost their life. And so I was an advocate for that system, fighting insurance, fighting Social Security disability system for the benefits they were entitled to. And that kind of led me into what I consider the next chapter because I really loved helping people in that way. I love the fight. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not a contentious person, but when you have a right to benefits that you're entitled to,
Mhm.
then I'm the person that you want on your side. So, in doing that, what I found though over the years, Megan, I started feeling like a really heaviness around it. My heart was breaking for people. There were people just like you and I that had dreams, had hopes, had possibilities, and then all of a sudden it was cut short.
Yeah.
And I would help them, and we were successful in helping them get benefits, money. But what I wasn't able to do was, it was breaking my heart. I couldn't help them have a quality of life.
Mhm.
Many people would have to live with chronic pain, with conditions, things that were just going to be a part of this is the new norm. And it was costing them their mental health. So, can you imagine being in pain every day or not being able to do the things you've done before and losing that ability to dream because you feel stuck?
Exactly.
And that's what really led me to like, wait a minute, there's something more that I'm supposed to do to help people in that way. And that's how I started turning the corner with what is that, right?
What is that? What is that? Yes. And so let me just give a little backstory to what brought me to where we are. As I shared earlier in the introduction, I have started, scaled, and sustained, and then ultimately sold 3 7-figure businesses, all in the beauty industry, i.e., 2 skincare brands and then a luxury day medical wellness spa. And in 19, we started at the Novita Spa Medical Rejuvenation Clinic here in Georgetown, Texas. We started doing regenerative stem cell therapies, injections, and IVs. And that came from the fact that, like Camille said, I had a chronic left knee that did not work. It just didn't work. And I was having chronic challenges. And then the summer of 18, I had a meniscus tear on that same knee, and it was done. I couldn't walk at all. And so I was faced with either having surgery, which I really didn't want to do, or something else. But
Mhm.
as a researcher of sorts, I knew of stem cell regenerate perinatal. This is from scheduled C sections, this birth product, and I knew of this. So I started researching and found some colleagues that had recently had successfully regenerative stem cells. So I went to where they went, which was not in the area I am. I traveled to it. Because it was harder to find it at that time. And so, with that, I had an injection in my left knee area, and it worked very, very well. And so because of that, people asked, can I have it? And so I did research again, brought it into our practice. And, 6 7 years later, we're still doing this. But in 21, I was introduced to a company called LifeWave by the company that I am still working with, purchasing the perinatal stem cell product from. They introduced me to the LifeWave company. And they explained to me that the science was impeccable. There was tremendous research. This is not a placebo. This is the real science. So, because Camille, A, is my dear friend, and B, what she just shared about her heart helping others, I introduced she to the X39 stem cell activation patch in 21. And as I said, it's not, I introduced it to Camille, not just for, assuming or expecting or any of those dynamics, for she to put it into uh, her work. Oh, crumb buns.
Well, and Megan, it wasn't just the work. I don't think, do you remember you introduced, I talked to you one day. I don't know why we were talking, but I was about to go speak 4 hours away. And all of a sudden, I developed this pain in my back. And I had known in my neck I was developing some pain, and I couldn't go speak. And it was debilitating. So I called you and you said, "Hey, I've got something that can help you." And you overnighted this small patch. And I didn't think twice about it because, yeah, I knew it was you. I didn't have time to do all the research. I needed relief. And ends up, I used it. And within a very short period of time, before I could even get my scan of what was going on, I was feeling relief. And so when I went to my chiropractor, I told him what I had, but we did the scans. And what we discovered in me was severe inflammation in my shoulders, arthritic condition in my neck, and then ultimately some problems with the disc. And so it was really interesting. I said, "But I feel like I'm really doing good." He said, "Really? You feel good? Well, you don't look good on film." So that's how this all started. And I used it. And as I went through the treatment with him, what he said to me is, "How long have you been sitting, right? Do you sit most of the day? What do you do for a living?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm crunched over a computer looking at a screen." And he said, "Over time, you'll develop some, degenerative conditions."
Right.
And that's what happened. But when I used that technology, could not deny, started feeling better, energy better. My chiropractor kept saying, "Wow, as we kept doing scans, things got better." And so I even shared, and I was talking to my mom about it, and she said, "You look better. You look really different. Your skin looks really good. I want to try that." So she tried it. And that's how I began to really become a believer in this technology, went to work in my body and allow my body to heal itself, which is what was a dream for me. And it was a dream that I wanted for so many people. I thought if people only knew that this was available to them,
That's
and
it.
it's so simple, it's not invasive, there's nothing interfering. I wasn't on any medication, but yeah, I became a believer.
Yeah, like you just said, that it is called, folks, non-transdermal, meaning this little patch um, versus taking medication, which so many people do, as you just alluded to.
Mhm.
There's nothing in this that is going to uh, set up a contraindication or a challenge with anything else that you might be taking.
Right.
On the other flip, it might help you get off of some of that, but that's a whole different point. That is
Right.
not what we're speaking about. But this has a compound that was developed by the amazing scientist David Schmidt that basically is working with your own light energy. So it's working with you. It's working with you and your essence that God has created. And we could get, more scientific, but the bottom line is that there's nothing in this. It's non-transdermal. Again, that means it doesn't have any substance that's going into your blood system. It's working, igniting your own stem cells. And an important point that I mentioned earlier is that in the perinatal, it is using someone else's stem cells from from a scheduled C-section.
Hmm.
And those stem cell, excuse me, that's birth product after the baby is born is put in a cryo chamber and sent to a blood bank and is processed, i.e., taking out that person's DNA. Well, guess what, guys? This is your own body working in consort with what God has created you to do, to activate your own stem cells, which are in your adipose fat, which means your thighs, your buttocks, and in your bone marrow. So this activates those rather stem cells. But and so that's what happened with Camille and her mother. That
Yeah.
is at 92.
No,
Come on.
she was 81, I
Yeah,
think, at the
right,
time.
right.
Yeah,
So,
and she started because I mean she's always been a person that had problems with her energy, some iron issues, and over time bone density issues. And she got on it, and just I started to see changes in her energy. No longer does she need a nap. She has more stamina. And over time, her doctor asked her, what are you doing?
right.
And she said, I don't know. And she just she didn't really know anything about it other than she trusted what I shared with her.
Mhm.
But after that, I was convinced. But even so, you know how you use something and you think, well, that was then. I wasn't totally excited, but last year, Megan, I had another kind of out of the blue, I call them out of the blue experience where
Uh-huh.
I developed a tendon tear through no injury, right? And then there was severe tendonitis. So on the MRI, it was clear it was severe. Couldn't walk, had
Yeah.
to elevate my leg, couldn't wear a shoe, would go try and get out for an hour or two. This went on for months. And I kind of had forgotten that I already had this technology because it frightened me. I thought, the podiatrist said, we're going to have to do surgery. We're going to have to go in there. We're going to have to clean that up. We're going to have to reconstruct. And I mean, it puts you in a state of shock. When you have these kind of things come at you, you almost just allow people to tell you what they need to do.
Yes.
But sitting there one day, I heard, what do you have in your hand? And I knew that voice, that still small voice. And so I took this technology again. And I just said, okay, I'm going to really use it. And I began to use that, the X39 technology. Also, another technology called Eon, which was for the inflammation. And within about 45 days, I was back in my shoe and walking. And here we are. And that was last year. And here we are
Yeah.
this year. I'm
Mhm.
walking and I'm back up to my 2 miles without surgery. That pain is not there. And the doctors are amazed, going, what did you do? Well, I wore that technology and it went to work on actually helping my body heal itself. So that's
Yes.
when I really knew, okay, God's talking to me now about you've got something in your hands that can help a lot of people. And if you'll just open your mouth and share your experience, which is what I'm doing today, your dream is coming true, which was redemption from all those years that I was watching people with no hope.
Yeah.
They
That's
had
the
no
operative
hope.
word. Hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
I
Yes.
mean,
No.
no hope of reclaiming their health.
Yes.
They could manage and take medication and limp along, but they had no hope. And so I realized, I'm like, this is what was bothering me. Here is a
Mhm.
solution. So
Yes.
that's where I am today. It's like, I know that God has created our bodies to heal, not to be sick. We have a right to be well, but we have to reclaim that right to be well and not accept, like I had forgotten in my own, injury, like, don't accept this. You were born to be well and you will be well. And I started speaking that as I was using this technology and really allowing that in my imagination, seeing myself walking again, seeing myself on the Brushy Creek Trail again. And that part of that, I really believe, is part of me reclaiming what was my right to be well. So I may not have been able to get up and walk then. I had my ice on and I was using the technology, but I could see myself well again.
Hmm.
So that's what's important, is that we reclaim our right and then we open our minds to possibilities, because I trusted you, right? I knew you knew about stem cells. I didn't know all the science, but once you told me that this thing was transdermal, nothing's going in my
Not
system.
non-transdermal,
Non-trans, non-transdermal, yeah.
non-transdermal.
Nothing was going in my system. It was like, how many people are experiencing back pain? How many people do I know with neck pain? How many people do I know with degenerative disc disease? There are a lot of people in my caseload. That was a good portion of them.
Yes,
And how
yes.
many people do I know along with that would have autoimmune disorders? There was just so many illnesses that are complicated. Like, it wasn't just one. Most people would have more than one, and then the mental component. So I could see that if I could just share this message and allow people to open their mind to possibility again, then their body would do the work.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm listening to and I'm thinking about since 2019, the individuals that we have helped with the perinatal. But the interesting thing about it, and I'm just going to tie this together because many people watching and will continue to watch because this replays um, may never have had stem cell, perinatal. But the truth of the matter is, again, it does, like myself, I had that injection in 2018. Now, those uh, stem cells in your body going to the area of inflammation, as you just spoke about, and regenerating, are not going to stay there indefinitely, are not. And we as consumers perceive, a one-stop shop, immediate gratification, things of that nature. Well, I had that, and I didn't realize this, Camille, at first, because again, but I had that injection in 2018 and had great success, but then started using this in the spring of 21, the non-transdermal X39. And so that was 21, guys. Now, I have since lost very slowly over the last 3 years. I have lost a considerable amount of weight. I didn't diet. I didn't take any injections. When I say diet, I didn't say, oh, I'm going to eat XYZ. But what it has done for me is given me, as you mentioned about your mother and others, a mindset, a clarity, energy that but very even, not spiky and going up and down, very even. So you don't really perceive, but it's been a very, and all I'm going to say is my balance, my holistic being is in alignment. And that's another thing that it does. It helps our organs and our body, which we don't see. Americans specifically want that immediate gratification. And that's why people jump from medication to medication, because if this isn't working, they're going to do that. This is a structure that is aligning your body, and that's what you're speaking about with not only yourself but your clients, your mother, other people. And now, as you said, since then, share with our clients with our guests, a little bit about things that you other people have seen, meaning, and even the testimonies that you've heard, and just a gamut of things that you've have experienced.
Sure. So I was talking to so I ultimately transitioned out of law about 2017 and was called into what I call transformational mentoring. So people who are mid-career, ready for a second chapter. So I work with women that are midlife, men who are midlife with strategy and mostly with mindset around moving forward. So I have a client who she she didn't necessarily know what I had, but I also help people with emotional release. And a lot of that stems from whenever we're stressed or we have past experiences in our life that keep us stuck, there's emotions associated with it. And they're not positive, right? They're
Mhm.
frustration, they're overwhelm. It could be anger, bitterness, resentment, whatever. It could be grief. But this particular person said, you know, I've been suffering with this shoulder for a long time, and I've been in therapy for 9 months. She said, and I've had like pneumonia and I've had some other things happen to me. And I just feel like things are falling apart. And I said, you know, let's really check that and see what's going on. Is there an emotional component? And we
Mhm.
did. And so I won't go into that work because it's really specialized, but there was an emotional component. But I also invited her, are you open to this technology?
Mhm.
She said yes. We did the emotional release work. By the time she got her patch in the mail, she put it on the shoulder, and lo and behold, her shoulder released. So it had been frozen for 9 months. And then her other conditions started to get better and better and better. Another person I know, same thing. She said, you know, I've been having this, I don't know what it is in my back. You know, it feels tight in my back. I can't really get comfortable in bed. I can't sit a long time. And again, told her my story and she used it. Same thing.
Mhm.
In a short order, she got some relief. So again, I could go on and on and on with
Right.
people with different stories who are going plantar fasciitis.
Right.
Fasciitis is another thing people suffer with. Heard people that say, you know, I've tried everything and nothing's working. So we know a person like that. So I mean, there's story after story after
Yeah,
story.
exactly.
And I've
Exactly.
witnessed this now. So when you start to be a witness and you see the testimonies,
Right.
you can no longer say, I'm not going to share this. So really sharing is about caring about people, which
Yes.
is what I had when I was practicing law, except I couldn't do anything about it.
Right. And that's the key, Camille, right there. It's that we can help people take action. We
Yes.
can and not only action, but action that has results and that you will see those results. And we've been now, and really why I wanted to come on today, guys, and have Camille join me is because we have been using this X39 stem cell activation patch ourselves for
Mhm.
many years now. And we now have introduced quite a few people ourselves
Mhm.
who have had great success and a myriad and a gamut of health needs. And then working with teams now and other people that, you know, our horizons have been expanded. Many women suffer with, many women, I'm specifically saying, with hormonal issues. And a lot of technology therapies, let's call it that, in the marketplace. Again, injections are expensive, and again, not necessarily 100% corrective, but also there's medication, oral medication. We know people that have been on medication for thyroid conditions and peri and postmenopausal, and now are off their medication. I mean, so these are people that we know, we have observed, we've experienced, and as Camille said, we could go on and on. So what we would love you to do is just step out and contact us. Our contact information is here, and we truly, from the bottom of our hearts, want to help you. As Camille, you said earlier, that God has wants us to live a whole and healthy life. And we are
Yeah.
facilitators in this to help you uh, n- really put a plan together for your life.
And let's mention Megan too. I mean, the lawyer and me, like this pet you're talking about doesn't treat, cure, or diagnose. There's no diagnosis of conditions or
No.
anything like that. So we're not saying anything about it doesn't cure anything. And so that disclaimer needs to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just an opportunity for you to look at how your body works and what in concert you can do to enhance that working of how we were designed to work. So I just wanted to say that we're
Absolutely. And very
yeah,
important. Very important.
yeah, there's no
Very important. Very important. Yes.
right.
I mean
But
that
it's an
point,
opportunity to
at
just
that point, and the non-transdermal are the two keys, meaning
mhm.
that there's no medication, there's nothing that you're ingesting or taking into your body. It is your body correcting and activating your own stem cells. That's number one. And number two, there's no claims. It's your body is doing what it needs to do.
That's pretty much it.
Right. Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
enough.
And
Yeah,
that's enough.
thank you for having me on. Thank you for letting me share my testimony and the testimonies of what I've witnessed. And I look forward to seeing people reclaim their health because, again, health is your greatest wealth, especially when you don't have it.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, we will be back. We will, just share continuously because this is our life's work. We recognize that now, and that is God has put this in our path at this point in time,
Mhm.
and we are committed, folks, to help you reclaim your lives, whatever it is, whatever dynamic. We're here to help you actualize your dreams, goals, and desires. Miss Camille, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Be blessed.
All right.
Well, I guess that Angeline, there she is. There's our producer. Um, so, with that said, folks, I just want to thank you for joining Camille and I. We are passionate about this, as you can see. We have been, as they say, the test of time. Well, we have had the test of time. And that is why we recognize very clearly, and as Camille shared, that she saw clearly last year or heard clearly last year from that still quiet small voice that it was time to really share this with many many others, and that's our passion, that is our purpose. We've been I've been in the, as I said, the skincare arena for years, helping people with their skincare needs, body care needs, and then in 17, excuse me, in 19, introducing regenerative stem cell therapies because of my own personal experience. I had no plan of introducing that. Zero. Didn't even know about it, really. And so just God has a plan. And so when I introduced that in 19 and then was introduced to the LifeWave company and specifically the X39 stem cell activation patch, it made so much sense to me of why. Why would I add this to not only my clinic work, but also my Propel business program work to help you start, scale, sustain the business and life of your dreams. Camille said it very well earlier about as an attorney helping people or working with people that were in very difficult places and we're losing hope. Well, we are here to give you hope and infinite possibilities. So please do contact me, contact Camille. We'd love to share information about X39, about the LifeWave company, and about how we can help you also start, scale, sustain the business and life of your dreams. Again, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you soon at the next Propel Deep Dive. Be blessed.
Hello, peace.